All right, we're back for round two. Hello, internet, ethernet, ether, not ethernet. That's a cable. That's a type of access to internet. Anyways, hello. Whew, it took me a minute to get back. For you guys, it'll be like a week, but I filmed the first video in January, and I thought I'll be over my crash out, and I was not. Still crying and, profusely like throwing up and stressed out of my mind. I didn't know what to do there. I blame myself. Like, I'll take that L for sure. I'll take the L, because what was I doing? I don't know. It was a rough time, but I thought, I'll just release it during Black History Month. People will be nice to me. That was my hope. I don't know if it went over well. We'll have to see when it comes to that. But hello. I don't like intros, and that was very long. So we will get right into this. So I want to go over what I plan to do and what we plan to do. I guess you guys are like being brought into the process. So welcome to the team. Welcome to the company. I think I'm going to go by IJN Studios. So welcome to the team. Welcome to IJN. Lovely to have you here. We're going to go over, some just purpose points today, I feel. And then I want to talk a little bit about the projects I'm working on. I'm very excited. So I kind of plan for this space to kind of work through everything for me. I'm using this as like a digital diary, or, well, digital planner and diary, depending on, how you think about the word. I'm just going to use it in all its forms. I think I need structure and accountability. This is definitely keeping me accountable. Right now, I should be on my way to work, and I am recording this, but I thought, we'll try it a different way. We're gonna film in the morning. I don't like filming in the morning. My voice is incredibly tired, and I don't know what to do with myself. So, next time we're not doing this. But I will go back to night writings for sure, or night videos for sure. I'm also not gonna really edit these, so you're really gonna get my stream of consciousness. It's not even me being lazy. I've accepted the fact that I don't want to do jobs that aren't my job. And I get it in film, like, yeah, it's a all hands on deck type deal. I totally get like helping out or like doing a bit of work, but to turn myself into a professional editor, like I have time to become a professional editor, is ludicrous to me. I don't have the time for that. Editing takes way too much time. So if I can't just like cut out the dead space, you're just gonna see my process and what I'm thinking of, or how I'm kind of moving through the space, which I feel like is more realistic. When you're in person with people, they say and wait, what was I saying, and lose track of their train of thought and ramble on and go on tangents. That's normal. So we're gonna act like we're normal, because I don't have time for that. Anyways. So one of my people in the comments said they want me to make a drink every single time, like little cocktails and elixirs and stuff. So let me go grab one of my items. And we're back. Sorry. I went to this really cool farmer's market the other day, and I got, I don't know how you even say this name. Chifolio? I don't know how you say their name. This smells incredible. It makes me want to cry. But it's lychee black tea. I love lychee, and I never hear about lychee tea. So that's kind of been steeping for us. Love that. And then, especially in the morning, I need a little pick-me-up. Sorry. For those of you who don't need stuff like that, I need a pick-me-up. So then I have my Perfect Aminos. This is not sponsored. I don't have sponsorships. This is like day 2. I don't have anything. But I really love Body Health. It's a really cool company. Perfect Aminos is their kind of powder. You can take it in pill form too, but I like drinks, so I have the physical form. I feel like a lot of these gym bros are like hacking the system, but they're hacking it wrong. Gotta get protein. Protein's great, babe. Love that for you. But it's like 900 calories. And so that ends up turning whatever shake you have into a meal, because I don't have enough room in my diet now for any of my like fun treats. But it's around like 2 calories. It takes out all the carbs, and it gives you Okay, yeah. So this, I just kept reading. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, la 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 la. I'm like, oh, really? Whey, meat, poultry. Yeah. So 1 scoop is equivalent to like 29 grams of whey protein and 15 grams of like meat protein, and it's very low calorie. I don't understand why people need like 300 calories or 200 calories in a protein shake just to get like 20 grams of protein. So we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna have this, but this is like black tea. So I'm kind of thinking I'll make my own, you know, half and half, because this is lemon lime flavor and it's just a powder. It's not special in other ways, but I like it. I'm not gonna show myself because I'm not picking this cup up. I'm not about to drop this thingy thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna add a little to what's been steeping. So I have protein. I have energy from the black tea. And on top of that, I also am gonna add some magnesium. It supports energy, mood, and muscles. More protein. I'm just kidding. Magnesium does not have, like, please don't assume magnesium has protein. I don't know why I said that. I was being funny. But yeah, we're gonna add a bit of that in there. Oop. Okay. Because before I think I like mixed it as I went, and I'm like, we'll just do it now. We're just gonna do it in the beginning. Oh, by the way, this is me mixing. I'm not doing anything. Oh, I'm blocking. I'm not doing anything interesting. This is me mixing. It's very good. I'm super excited to try it. Oh. This, wow. Okay, this smells like, it's so specific. It smells like a lemon, what do you call those things? Like a lemon Ricola cough drop. That's what it smells like. It's so good. Oh my God. Guys, okay, ready to start. Sorry, I'm back. I needed a tea break. Sorry, see, and then we're just gonna do this. This is normal. People need a second to get things together. We did that. Okay, so what I plan to do, I plan to kind of show you my process of creating a few different films. They're all technically a brand. You'll learn a bit about the film industry as well as some other stuff that I have in the works. So when it comes to films, each film is registered under its own LLC. It's just for easy marketing, for branding. Like when you buy something attached to a film, it goes under that film's LLC, and then like they don't have to, it's for tax purposes, because you could technically just put everything under the Disney Corporation if you wanted to, but like they have ABC and they have, you know, Marvel, even though it's technically, you know what I mean? So it's just easier for taxes and for legal purposes not to mix money. I don't know why I did that down here, but to mix money is what I did. Yeah, so I plan on going through my process. So each of my projects are in very different stages. Some of them I just started. Some of them are kind of halfway done. And a lot of my work is from scratch. I really am interested in original IP. I think it's great. Like reimagining a book. I love adaptations. I'm not anti-adaptations. One day I would love to do the right adaptation. But I feel like we have enough. Like we've had enough for a while, and I just don't feel inspired by them. And I think that I can make my own. I have creativity, I have imagination, and in a time of AI, I think it's important to like use my brain. So I am coming up with plots on my own, and I want to showcase myself as a writer producer who also showruns and acts and makes my own films and creates my own TV shows. So yeah, we're gonna go through some things. In a second, I'll explain them individually in detail. Whew, okay, so I want to talk about creating when no one's watching. Like, I think I have 4 or 5 people actually watching this channel, which is great. You're all friends, and I appreciate you. And one day, you know, 3 or 4 other people will come in and will say hi, but at the moment, like, no one's watching. So I think what's motivating me to keep going is you have to get to the point where you're working for yourself. Whatever the outcome is, or whatever you want in the end, you have to be able to stomach that you did it your way and you did it for yourself. So whatever that means, right? Whatever selling out means to you, do the opposite. Whatever compromising your morals or your boundaries means to you, do the opposite. And I feel like anything in the realm of the opposite will make you a happy camper, because you can live with yourself. You can go to bed at night and not, lay there restlessly like, how did I become this person? And I just know so many people feel that way, not just about film, but in everything in life. Yeah, so I am making stuff for myself, but I'm also making stuff that I want to watch with friends, which means I am making content for other people, like in mind off the bat. And some filmmakers don't do that. I think I'm gonna definitely do a video about fan service and like why, even though they want to do these adaptations, I can't talk, these adaptations, they're not going well. There's a reason they're not going well. Yeah, but so I am making this for me. I'm making this for you. I'm making this for everybody. A lot of the projects that I start are inspired by conversations I have with people. Maybe one day I should do a video of like asking people, like genuinely getting like on the ground feedback. But everywhere I go, I ask people, if any show or if any book, any period of your life, any crazy story you heard, like if that could be turned into a show or movie, like what would it be? And those answers have really surprised me. They've inspired me to make really interesting content, to look into avenues I would have never looked in to make content. And on top of that, I really love, I was gonna say research. I mean, research is fine, but I was gonna say interviews. I really enjoy like talking to normal people. I don't know what award show it was, but Viola Davis made it very clear that, how did she word it? It was so beautiful. Oh, she was like, the best stories are like in the ground. They're people who have lived and died and will never know the crazy love stories they had or the wild jobs they had, their perspective on war, their perspective on a country that, we're all of a sudden interested in learning the history of. We'll never know their story. The greatest stories you'll never know are in the ground. And it just kept sticking with me. And I'm like, why do we wait, And, there's all this talk of giving people flowers, but how about making a human-to-human connection with people? There are people in my family and other people's families that I've met and I've talked to, and I am astonished at their life story. I have no clue they were that interesting of a person. And that's not a diss to people. Like, you can be boring and it'd be fine, but I had no clue the complexity of their own internal world. I think that's just, the vanity of being a person and really focusing on me, because I am technically the center of my world, even though it's not my world. But yeah, so that's humbled me a lot. But yeah, I also want to talk about the fact that I, as a creative, as a artist, I am interested in the results, in the money, in, long-term, what we end up making. I'm interested in that. I know other people aren't. Like, I'm sorry to them. I'm sorry to other creatives. I'm sorry to other people who want to disagree with me. That's fine. You can be wrong over there. Love that for you. But yeah, I don't know. I think other people's opinions matter. I'm not doing this for the love of being a director, for the love of being a writer. It's not about that. Like, I also want to produce for myself and for others. And that means I have to make a profit. So I can't always make the dream project. And everyone's, response to that is, okay, we'll make a crappy reality show, but we don't really do that anymore. There's not a lot of filler content on TV. We're not even doing like network shows anymore. And the filler content we have now isn't really filler content. It's just bad, normal content. So they're not looking for a filler show. So if I come in with a filler show, it's not going to get made, if that makes sense to you. Yeah, the industry's changed a bit. So I have to kind of tweak the way I write for mass production. So I know that, if you wear multiple hats, you take them off. But it's really hard to take off producer hat while I'm writing. Because realistically, can I get this made? or realistically, would it require a higher set of skills that I now have to pay out for that I can't afford for this project? How does that affect the budget? How does that affect how long we can shoot, where we can shoot, how we can shoot? I've seen some really innovative techniques that a lot of people are diving into, and so I'm gonna explore some of those as well. But yeah, it's just like a reality check that it's not, I don't know. I'm rambling now for that one for sure. Sorry, I have notes in front of me because I like bullet points. Ooh, yeah. So I think I'm gonna do it this way because I have this really weird insecurity of being perceived. I think I'm an artist and I'm sensitive, even though people don't believe that in my life. I'm very sensitive. I feel like I turn it on, if that makes sense, when I'm on stage. On a stage, I turn it on. I have this big personality. It's very bubbly, or it's very like devoted to the character. But outside of that, it can feel very internal, and I can feel like an extrovert who no one can really get a grasp on. You don't really know me. And most extroverts are very like, let me expose my whole soul to you. And I just don't do that. I'm not interested in that. So this is kind of vulnerable for me, and I'm fighting the urge to like not say something. So I talk sometimes in vague ways. My bad. I'm working on it. This is supposed to be my diary, but that's why I don't write, right? So that's why I don't write in a diary, because I will literally vaguely talk to myself like, hi diary, it's me again. They're making us talk. I guess you're doing well and fine. And I will read that back and laugh. And I know that like, I'm never going to tell my feelings. My like real feelings about stuff, because they're for me. But you know, I feel like I need to expose myself and live in this new world. I have hidden my personality and my person for a while. I think I stopped showcasing myself like in high school. I never wanted to be perceived. I think my teacher scared me straight, especially high school, middle school, when they were like, yeah, don't post anything online. I tell everyone, don't record it, don't post it. Whatever you're doing, don't repost it. And now I'm like, I'm posting everything. Yeah, so I am gonna put my stuff out there. I'm gonna try to speak as openly and candidly as I can about the projects without like giving someone else the blueprint to just redoing my project. But I do want to make this feel like an intimate space that we all are working in together. Like it feels like a workspace. It feels like we're doing it together, because we are. I am taking feedback. You know, if you guys have thoughts and feelings and opinions, please let me know. Sorry, you guys. I'm really dehydrated. My throat is like the mornings, man. I normally don't talk to people until like 10 a.m. I need a ton of water, but we're doing it for the love of the game, because I was supposed to do this last night and I was very tired. So morning run it is. Yeah, so oh, I don't even understand my own notes. I was like, is that French? Yeah, so I think that this is the beginning of a journey, right? And I think long term you're gonna see, oh, Nicole's doing a lot of things for like no reason. I thought she was just like a wannabe actress. What is all this mess? And I just want to put it out there that like the film industry made me this way. Every time I was rejected, every time I felt disrespected, every time I wasn't taken seriously, my leadership, my years in the game, my time put in research, working with professionals, working with people who teach professionals, every time that wasn't taken seriously, I've just added another notch to my belt of like other things that I will be adding into my life to make money and to grind and hustle. So moving forward, if you're like, you're doing a lot, like sit down. The industry made me this way. Sorry, not sorry. Just gotta be upfront with you. And then I want to talk about, I guess what we'll do on this channel. So I'm going to talk about my growth as a person. I'm normally like very sane and calm and can give advice and very helpful to people. But you know, once in a blue moon, you have a crash out, and it's okay. I tried to come on here last time as like calm as humanly possible without like screaming because I can be very loud. This video is not a good example of loudness. I'm a very loud person and I work very hard to sound normal in a normal decibel range. So if I'm getting too loud, also let me know. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about my growth as a person, growth through the industry, growth as an artist, and I don't know, growth in just learning about the world, or how my brain works, how the world works, learning the game of life. You know, I want to go through my film journey with you guys for sure. I'm gonna go through movies, shows, everything that I want to create, why I want to create them. I definitely want to do some reaction videos. I feel like, I not to toot my own horn, but I am an amazing person when it comes to watching content. Because I fully throw myself into the piece or the film or the show, so I react crazy every time. I could have watched this movie 50 times, and watching it with you guys, I will still have the craziest reactions. There was a night that my friends all got together and they all each got a bottle of wine because one friend was like, you have to watch Nicole watch White Chicks. Oh, my name's Nicole. I go by Darby on here, but my name is Nicole. I just realized. But yeah, so they're like, you have to watch her watch White Chicks. So I will watch that one day as well for you guys. I can quote the entire film. Yeah, but I want to watch movies. I want to watch fun movies. I want to watch crazy cinema. I don't want to watch just pretentious art house. I feel like there's actually really good art house, and there's art house from around the world. We don't really need, you know, the wannabe, you know, cinephiles being like, well, actually, this version of Lolita and The Lighthouse was in black and white, and if you really thought about... No, I don't need that. Like, we can watch movies together and be chill, right? We can watch Rashomon, and then we can turn around the next day and watch White Chicks, and we can turn around the next day and watch What Happens in Vegas, and the next day we can watch Emperor's New Groove. Like, it's okay to like multiple things and go multiple places. I think it creates really cool cinema and really cool mindsets when it comes to the creative, like being exposed to so much. And I also will talk to you guys about the history of getting into different types of cinema. I know that, like, what's his name? I don't know why I said what's his name. I know his name. It's like I'm looking at him, but I don't see his name. Ryan Coogler. He talked about a Puss in Boots movie being a very big inspiration for Sinners, and it's an animated film. So you could even argue, like, it's a completely different medium, and it's for a completely different age demographic, and yet it inspired him so much for this movie. So I don't ever want to count something out just because it's not your typical example of something. I'd also really like to watch some stuff with my friends. Some of you guys, I call you guys my movie buds. They're so funny, and they just make the viewing experience so pleasurable. And I'm like, I would love to watch, you know, with people and explore shows and films with people and get, you know, everyone's take. I think it's important to include normal people's takes on films. So much of the film industry lives in this like creepy bubble. Sorry, I'm like going on tangents, but like they live in these really creepy bubbles where they don't talk to regular people, or they're like, you just wouldn't understand my life. You wouldn't understand me. And I think that, you know, life is what you make it. And if you put yourself in a predicament where you become inaccessible and by proxy, you know, unavailable and unrelatable to people, you've created the bed that you're not lying in. And so I don't want to ever put myself in a position where I've gotten so big, but also have lost the respect of the everyman. You know, I want power. I'm a person who likes power. This is the first love of my life. Back here, as a reminder, his name is Julius Caesar. Isn't he beautiful? Yes. So that's my first love as a person, just being real, and he motivates me every day. And, you know, this guy, he ruled with an iron fist and was horrendous to people and ruled out of fear. And I want to search and discover real power, which is, you know, through love and care and consideration. And I want people to actually want to follow me and my journey and my films, and not be like, oh my God, I'm forced to follow this person because their dad bought all of the streaming services. You know exactly who you are. His dad bought all the streaming services and now is also trying to buy the last the last studio, and I'm like, you have everything. Why do you need this? But yeah, so just trying to breathe through that. But okay, let's go through projects. Oh my god, it's like a little meeting. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna call this, I actually think I'm gonna title this like Q1 meeting. Q1 all hands. Oh my god, the corporate world has ruined me. Because before this, I would never think that's funny. But if you've been in an all hands meeting, it's hell on earth. So I hope that I made this pleasurable for you and it wasn't too bad. But yeah, so I'm gonna go through some of the projects. So in the film world, when you're making a project, you kind of use code names. Everything's kind of secret, especially, I don't know if you guys have like heard of Marvel. Marvel will literally make a movie and have the title be like people who go to school, and it'll be like Spider-Man. They don't tell anyone anything. I don't think I'm gonna be that petty, but I'm gonna go through some of mine. So we're gonna do 4 entertainment projects and then a bigger wellness piece. So the film I'm working on now, it's written, the director is attached. I am looking into funding. I have a lot of the creative team I have a lot of the creative team attached, but we're in the funding stage where we're looking for funding. And that one is a horror thriller kind of creature feature about teens in school and the cost, but also the sacrifice it takes to constantly go after wealth and power and success and money. And the conversation kind of dwells around like, when is enough? And how far do we go? How long do we go? How long does your bloodline go into fighting for this? I think I wanted to do a horror film that was for people who don't like horror, because I wasn't a horror fan. I've now since become a horror fan, but I think it's important to bring levels of accessibility into the genre now that the genre has been defined. I don't really need to like deeply try to create the genre. I can have fun and play, which I'm very grateful to the horror people for doing the groundwork. Thank you, because this is kind of intense. Yeah, and so a lot of moments in the film that you would think are horror-based, they're not horror-based. They're very fun. I thought about true horror, and it's going through life with rose-colored glasses and not paying attention and being really sheltered and waking up and being like, how did I get in this predicament? So many women that I talk to have gotten in the craziest predicaments because they just didn't know, and no one told them that men could be like this, or that people could be like this, or that, you know, part of society could be this ruthless. They just didn't have any clue. And I thought that is the true horror. So that's what we're going to focus on. And so they're living life la-di-da, and people around them are doing interesting things. I'm not going to spoil the film, but the film's tone is very much set as like a very like a coming of age film, and then we take it into horror. So that's, we're gonna call it School Spirit, which I feel like is a fair term. So if you ever hear me talking about School Spirit, it's this project. LA Baby. So we're gonna do a really cool, interesting concept film about 2 people who meet in LA and the delusions of romance in this city. I feel like a lot of people can relate to, you know, losing hope and for 1 second being like, wait, is it actually possible that I really just find my person? And the realities of like having real conversations. I'm really inspired by Before Midnight. I think it's Before Midnight, Before Sunrise, After Midnight. I don't know what they're called. That the whole trilogy, Ethan Hawke is in them, and it's just conversations, like real conversations. I'm more of a dialogue writer than explore the space, no one talks, we just feel things, vibey, right? I don't really like that, because I think in real life, I don't just experience people through silent vibes. Like, people talk to each other, or they're talking and the other person they want to talk to is over here. But I feel like I've never lived a life where conversation isn't normal and constantly happening words. So yeah, and it takes place over the span of 1 day. And I think, even though I didn't think I wanted to, I'll talk more about it when I talk about School Spirits, but I think I'm going to direct that one because of what I've learned through this process of School Spirits. I think I'm going to direct that one. Then we have my show. We're doing a mini series version of the show first, not a vertical. I'll also talk about why I'm not doing a vertical for this. I have a vertical idea, maybe one day for funsies I'll do it, but at the moment, no, we're not doing that. So this show, I'm really inspired by Black families. I feel like a lot of people come at me. You guys don't know this because you're not in my conversations, but people want me to make very Black art. And I think Blackness is subjective, coming from a Black person. Oh, and we're in Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, guys. Yeah, my Black experience is very different than other people's Black experiences. And I wanted to talk about the fact that, in America, we don't really discuss island life or the complexities of your only issues not being abject poverty. They love to harp on abject poverty. And outside of like Insecure, we don't really get normalized Black stories. I think Netflix did this one like love story with these two kids, and it was like revolutionary because they just had a boring love story. They met, their parents were like, oh, you two like each other, and they were like, yeah, we hung out at camp, we're not the best communicators, maybe we'll get together in the future. And that was like revolutionary. And it's a very basic plot, but because we don't really get normal stories, it's always like aggressively, rooted in abject poverty, or they're these random one-off insular universes of Black surrealism. And they're beautiful and they're poetic and they have fancy music, but that's not everyday life for any Black person that I know. They don't listen to that music and talk that way and speak in these interesting cadences. And there's nothing wrong that they're beautiful, but I'm saying I want to focus on a different reality. I think the first time I saw what I'm looking for is American Fiction, I think is what it's called. And it was just that they had to take care of their mom. We boast about how we don't put people in homes, but what's the reality of that when you have family who are very much sick and going through things that they're going to have to deal with the rest of their life until they die, and you now have to take care of them? What do you have to do now to deal with those kind of situations? And me and a lot of my island friends and a lot of my people from Chicago were very much like, okay, there's a different energy out here and I would love to explore this. So I'm making a show called Black Fleabag. That's not the title. I have a very cool title in mind, but for now we're going to call it Black Fleabag because Fleabag is the white equivalent to what I'm talking about, where there's this minutia and these very, very specific toxic dynamics between family members. I, as well as other people that have contributed their life stories to the to the show, have very interesting dynamics with their families, with their immediate families, and I want to explore that more. I think that we've been here a while. We can talk about more things. We've gotten past slavery. We've gotten past segregation. Right, we've gotten into poverty. I think we can get out of poverty, and we can go into, what it looks like when, every person in your family has a different education level and is part of a different class, right? That's another thing that I have not really seen. Even just this concept I've seen a bit in like British content, but they're kind of a part of the same class and caste system. And I'd like that to be explored as well. So that's that show. We're gonna do a short version of it here. So we're gonna do 10-minute episodes of like a mini thing so that we can pitch. I think I'm gonna do like 4 episodes, and then hopefully we can get to 6 or 8 longer episodes. I don't know, after Heated Rivalry, they might have pulled back on the 8-episode arc. I already think 8 episodes is kind of small, but I'm not trying to complain. And then I have a film that I'm doing about theater, and the realities of theater. So I had this idea when I was doing the School Spirits film, and I thought about, okay, that's horror, but like what's horror to me, like me individually? And I thought about the fact that I've done so much theater, and the scariest thing in the world to me is like a dress rehearsal. Like the fact that the show must go on no matter what, and you're just watching chaos ensue, and people are getting injured or hurt. No one's eaten in 7 hours. Tech or even a tech rehearsal. Oh my God, tech rehearsal is a nightmare. But going through this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and feeling like you're trapped in this room and you're stuck in these clothes and you can't breathe, but you can't eat because you're in the clothes, and you can't talk to anybody else because you can't have phones out because they need tech out of the way because they're using tech to light your clothes. And I think a lot of chaos ensues, and I thought, what if we turned the story on its head and we kind of paid homage to Black history, but to Black theater history. As a person who's done theater and film and entertainment, I think Black theater is very much overlooked. All of the dance styles, all of the greats, from the Tappers to Horton to jazz to ballet to modern. I just feel like we could do so much dance-wise. I'm really excited to play around with kind of like sets going awry and the realities of like behind the scenes in theater. So many of my friends have crazy stories from behind the scenes. I'm like, we need to add these in. I don't understand why people aren't doing this. And I want it to center around like Black, African American, Caribbean like mysticism, especially when it comes to like destiny swapping and people trying to steal someone's star and someone's energy, and the realities of that and how it also becomes meta and mimics us in real life, you know? And so that means the casting has to be very particular because I want it to be very meta without disrespecting the people that I'm like low-key casting because it fits their life. Because I want the audience to under the surface and in front of, like, I want them to face it but also feel like, did she do that on purpose? I did do it on purpose. Yeah, so that one I'm calling dress rehearsal, which it's gonna be a blast, but I need more money for that, so we're doing other things first, and that's fair. And then and like musically, Black musical icons in theater who've also transitioned to film, and then also paying homage to movie musicals, which is a whole category in itself. So yeah, we're gonna be I'm getting ahead of myself. And then I have a wellness project. I'm really into wellness. I'm really into health. I'm really into skin. I've done a lot when it comes to skincare. I'm interested in kind of creating a brand when it comes to skincare. I don't know how, like, the true essence of like what I want it used for, if it's like day to day or if it's for words, if it's for intense treatments. But I really want to, you know, push that out. And then I have a wellness company that I'm building that's more social based. I think that a lot of wellness we're looking into is like, oh, mental health days, right? But I think that rest can't just be I went to bed and maybe I had like a bowl of my favorite snacks and I watched like funny TV. Like bed rot and like herkle-derkling. Yes, I know whimsy words. But yeah, so it can't just be that. You have to, at some point, be able to incorporate layers of different types of rest in your everyday life to create work-life balance. You know, I think the ancients, especially the Greeks and the Romans and all these people, everyone looks at, oh, my Roman Empire, this, my Roman Empire, that. And it's like they would be ashamed at the way we live, the crazy way we have no balance in our lives. And so I'm going to try to kind of instill that. And yeah, we'll have meetings, we'll have, you know, we'll go through different focus groups, we'll fight, we'll argue, we'll debate, we'll flesh it out, and the end product will be beautiful. So I'm really excited to do this journey with you guys. Thanks for coming to my meeting. I kept it under 45. I kept it under an hour, you know, because I'm a thoughtful creative. But yeah, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon. I'm super excited. Bye.